Looks like Jake Roof.
That's not exactly the start everybody's looking for. Where's it coming back across? High leg. Studs.
No, I hope not.
Studs on the knee.
Not quite the knee.
Studs on the thigh.
Not that either. Well, good to see Roof is back up and about. Good chance I wouldn't be. Sharpie to throw for Louisville. Marlin. Pushed ahead by Dean. Marlin, who is the prime example for the necessity of a good pronunciation guide after many years as Marlon.
The ebb and flow that is.
Yeah.
You know, coming in, Mike, I mentioned to you about the middle of the field. A lot of times I'll talk to you about one-on-one matchups, or, you know, what crews tend to counteract each other. The matchup itself between Louisville City and Birmingham Legion fit right into each other. Roy Gonzalez, Niall McCabe, as they push. In theory, it's right next to Hervo and Mikey Lopez. Coming the other direction, though, for me, it's more difficult with the movement of Enzo Martinez and what will be. You'll notice that he'll drop off Agadel's left and right shoulder. He'll push out onto the flank. Very different than the two that you see that'll play the eights for Louisville City. More traditional in nature. They'll get out of their comfort zone. They'll remove themselves from the middle. But Enzo Martinez is a whole nother animal for this Birmingham Legion team. One of 6 in the 40-30 club coming in. Amson made it a point to go and get him after the offseason that was from Charlotte Independence.
Sharpie called for it, indeed. Belongs to Louisville. Off that of Omby, Sharpie on the run. Roof slides in this time.
This is an area that was not of contention against Hartford Athletic in their 2-0 victory last weekend. Really struggled with the balance on the right-hand side. Ray Serrano, good job working underneath the 9 that was Brian Ownby, but they didn't have the proper width from Wes Sharpie. Needs to play a more advanced role tonight. Danny Cruz very cognizant of the fact that they got it from Dia, but Sharpie had to be more involved.
It's a 5-5 corner. McCabe. Push. Never meant to be. Danny Cruz leading Louisville City, 32 years young. We had a chance to talk to him a little bit about this Birmingham team this week, Dev. He indicated the injuries have certainly played a role. They've changed shape, certainly different look up front, makes for a different kind of scout.
For me, over the years, the changing of the shape has been something that has been problematic, because you're looking for a regularity within those performances. And at this stage right now, most teams in the championship don't possess the ability to go to a 3-back, then a 4. You know, they can drop into 5, change shapes within the middle. And there's so much talent for the Legion, but they started the season 3-5-2, 4-3-3. They flattened out the midfield 3-4-3. Now they found very comfortable positions with the double pivot within the midfield. Now, Lopez will step higher, Haribo can come higher, but right next to each other to allow Enzo Martinez to explode into the attack. A lot of times, it turns into this 4-2-4, and I do go back to the mentality as well, Mike. When you have the belief, like the win at Phoenix Rising, that you can beat anyone at any point in time, it becomes contagious, and that's exactly what's gone on over the past 4 matches.
Marlon early, seeking Agudelo. Winder was there. Let's take a look at the weather report. It is presented by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Partly cloudy, not entirely cloudy, 87 degrees. Hopefully we can evade any hydration breaks with the 8 o'clock kickoff. Early from Roof. Header inward, offside flag raised. You know, it's kind of funny. We were talking to Tom Sohn about it in relation to Louisville's game against Hartford. Well, if they could stay on side, meaning Hartford, who were offside a resounding 11 times.
I actually think you lowballed it, but you were dead on with the stats.
Yeah.
I mean, we just sat there and watched over and over. And their performance overall wasn't poor by any means. They certainly created enough opportunities for themselves. And you wondered, how much could they challenge Danny Fondes? Well, the answer was not a bunch at all, because weren't bending the runs, the communication wasn't there. I do give the back line of Lou City a bit of credit, though most of it was the fault of the attackers.
Ombi nearly took it away. Harris tripped to ground. Otherwise, he was through. Well, ultimately, the performance got Harry Watling relieved of his duties. He resigned hours after that game.
And that was 2 of 2, and then earlier today, Gary Lewis from New York Red Bull 2 also put to pasture. That makes 3, and is that 3 weeks now, Mike, or 2.5?
Well, bad things come in threes. I believe it's about 3 weeks. Gonzalez goes down. First card of the match comes out.
And it's just a mismatch in numbers. Amadou Dia comes high. This is where I mentioned you have to be careful. It's problematic for sure, but with Niall McCabe and Jorge Gonzalez, sometimes the rotation is side by side, but always you're going to have an advanced role of one of the outside backs. When Dia and Mushagalusa and Jorge Gonzalez are all next to each other, you're talking about 3 players that are more than happy to take on 1v1. Flat-footed just a touch, then coming in late into the tackle. And this yellow card presented by World of Beer.
Maybe it'll be Niall McCabe trying to test the goalkeeper here. Still no Cameron Lancaster. 5th, 3rd free kick in a dangerous place to earn one. Tosh scoring a week ago. Perhaps he's the target again. Step over from Dia. McCabe toward Tosh. Falls in front. Kicked back and hammered wide. Mushagalusa. That sat in the 6 for an eternity.
Shocked that they didn't pick up Tosh to begin with, because he was just standing by as lonesome. Jake Roof slow to react as he was there just looking to pick out this ball in the back post. Well floated in, squared back across. Stick it in, hope for something special. 2 instances back to back now for Lou City. That one right there where Mushagalusa couldn't get to it, and then the press on Brian Ownby where he and Harris struggled with their footing as well.
Couple players have had some issues with their footing here at the outset. And, you know, Dev, you think about the number of games that this field is taking right now between Racing Louisville and Louisville City. It's a stadium that both leagues, I think, feel comfortable placing teams early in the season, as opposed to some of the more northern or turf-laden fields.
remember within it, you've also got some of the concerts that have rolled through Butchertown area and Family Stadium have played host to. I understand that this is obviously still one of the premier grounds within the entire USL Championship. The venue itself make a case for top-notch around the country. Grounds crew has just been kept a bit busier than usual.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. 12th minute and scoreless in the Butchertown neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky.
That's a ball.
Long run for Mushagalusa. Turned on the Jets. A little bit of trouble there for Johnny Dean. That's going to be a corner. Five corner to come.
A tad surprised so far that the speed has been so troublesome for both Jake Roof and Johnny Dean. And that's not to discredit anything from Brian Ownby or Mushagalusa. With the scouting report coming in, you have to understand that the direction of play coming from Tosh and Winder is going to be right at you diagonally to allow them to run in.
Ball across. Ownby streaking down toward it. He nods it down and out. Goal kick for Birmingham.
3 of 3 now for Lou City with semi-decent looks. Could make the argument that this is probably the best one, even though he's drifting all the way to the backside. He's unmarked. This is a problem here. Sone's got to have a conversation. Matt Van Oekel, dead ball situations back-to-back now, where Birmingham Legion have allowed a Lou City player to get a wide open look at goal.
Here's Van Oekel. Let's tell you, the Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they serve since 1951. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Served in for Mushagalusa. Rolled away, Kavita. Ownby goes down. Another set piece opportunity for Louisville.
He's not even turned around in this situation. Jake Roof just struggled with the change of direction. Ball down into the corner. Saw that Brian Ownby was over the left shoulder. Should have trusted his instincts because he was on the right path. Had the angle locked down. Instead, the little peek. Ownby came back over the other side. Let's see if it's another situation where they get caught wandering. Matt Van Oekel, excellent goalkeeper. Got to be high in the communication, be very direct in situations like this. 15 minutes in, struggled a bit. triple, quadruple check every single mark before it's whipped in.
McCabe on a third free kick. Not it as far as Amadou Dia. Mushagalusa. Lopez in his wake. Dean coming in. Got a piece. 5-5 corner for Louisville City. Eyelashes overhead at this majestic cathedral to the beautiful game constructed over 2019 and 2020. McCabe over Sharpie. Ownby. Gonzalez tried to get it. Soars overhead. Header down. Ownby on the first time. And popped over Enzo Martinez. A longtime Charlotte Independence player who watched his franchise essentially end its tenure in the championship that day. Conference semifinal last year. What a game that was.
They were good. They were very, very good. Charlotte Independence mid-season acquisitions. Christian Fuchs, Sylvain Marveau, Gabriel Aubertin, world-class players. Of course, Fuchs has moved on to Charlotte in Major League Soccer. Seemed they could do nothing wrong until they hit the postseason. There are plenty of people who had them picked as a possible winner. Not
know
I.
anyone? Oh.
Not I. I do.
Turn back to Louisville. Mushagalusa could slide in from behind by Johnny Dean. Get that wrong and we're having a different conversation. Ownby slides it by with James stepping in. There's room for Sharpie. Sharpie curling back post. Run all the way along the line and out. That's a goal kick. Louisville seemed to think that that was going to be a corner. It's very much not.
We should have a tracker for managers during a match.
What would that be tracking?
Spoken word per minute. And who would be atop that list in your mind?
Bob. Lily.
Bob creates the list.
Yep.
I have to imagine Danny Cruz is probably top 5.
He's busy. Ownby. Roof. Tosh. Fondez coming off his first clean sheet. Is he a donut man? Bagel man?
Donut man.
Donut.
Yeah, apparently some of the best in the business. Even his result against Hartford.
Mushagalusa offside.
They have pinned themselves back a bit deeper on the outside. Thompson asking Enzo Martinez to chase a bit more. Marlon Santos and Ryan James have come a touch deeper, flatten out the midfield, looking more like a real traditional 4-4-2 overall. It's nothing groundbreaking from Birmingham Legion. It's just the designation of when they're going to roll it out. They've had a little trouble in the seams on the outside so far, so they're asking Roof and Johnny Dean to drop with it as well, not allow those balls coming back up over the top. Hasn't necessarily locked that down yet. But the good news is this right here, they haven't directly been able to play around the outside and then move forward. You're trying to take away the luxury of the balls into the 6, moving into guys like Wes Sharpie and Amadou Dia, and force balls from the goalkeeper or the center backs like that, where you have a chance to go win a 50-50 and pick up possession.
Martinez, as ever, still a nap in the press. Dia. Harris. Ball one back, and James contemplating, leading Martinez. Martinez rolling in front. Soars over.
Same thing though, right? Pick it up in the midfield. Quick transition the other direction. One of the great attributes you get out of Ryan James is his understanding of so many different roles on the field and within Tom's zone system. Play him in the 6 and outside. As he comes back in, immediately he's up and he knows that he's going to have Agudelo, Martinez, or Santos drifting to that right-hand side. Does wondrously with it.
First ball's away on the corner by James. Dean. Offside flag again. And a busy flag twirler to this point.
And the one thing that you get out of Lou City, Mike, when they start to step defensively and this ball comes up is, you know, your two outside backs are always going to be high, but the step is just as rapid from the two center backs. So you win the 50-50, you look up. As quick as the decision needs to come from a Ryan James, a Lopez, or a Harivo, whoever picks it up on the inside, you need the advanced roles to be understanding of their location as well, and that's what's struggling now.
Harivo, a little leap from Martinez, who's held off by Winder. Is that 5?
Again, 100%. And he knows it too, Enzo Martinez. The ball coming back through. It's the same exact situation. Step on the ball, goes to play it across. Head up, Harivo. Look at Enzo Martinez. He's got to be better here because he's only looking square right at Wes Sharpie. He doesn't peek over to recognize the fact that Josh Winder's sitting behind him. As the game progresses, Danny Cruz is going to continue to bark at his guys and recognize the fact that that space is open. Both sides being plagued 23 minutes in.
Dev, we talked about this a little bit during the Hartford game. At what point does it become lack of discipline by players to run into that issue over and over again versus is Louisville setting a trap that effectively?
Yes. You know, the offside trap was something that was so traditional in the 90s and early 2000s. You don't really see it employed as much because of the massive amount of rotation you get from teams. If you end up going with it in this situation, obviously, you've basically just got two center backs that you're relying on spatially against a 4 or 5 man attack of Birmingham Legion. That's a numbers game that you don't necessarily want to play. But the lethargic thinking that is coming right now has to be better. And it is from both teams. I mean, managers on the sidelines right now are going to be going, guys, are you kidding me? Because the writing's on the wall. This isn't that hard to figure out. You're 24 minutes in. Everything that you've seen on tape is playing out exactly the same way. This comes down to execution by the players and lack thereof, to be honest.
Sharpie. Start number 14 of the year for Sharpie. He's played in all 17. Through Tosh. 4th goal of 2022 against Hartford. Back to Onby. Turns on James. Wanted to swing that over through Gibson. Now Jorge Gonzalez gets the return. Slips through. Onby turns, curls across. Just off the mark for a racing Mushagalusa.
It's a stare of angst and disgust because he just asked him to make the back post run, didn't. When the ball recycles back around, Mushagalusa, now you go. There's only one place this ball is coming. It's across the 6 with pace. You have to hit this at full speed. You can't be behind the defender. You have to be challenging head on. That's a really well done job by Brian Onby, just lacking on the back end by Mushagalusa in the back post run.
Agudelo. Ha-ha. Well, don't miss your opportunity to see offside in person. I'm sorry, cheer on the boys in purple at Lynn Family Stadium this season. Louisville City single game tickets are on sale now. LouCity.com/tickets. Does it warm your center back heart? Toj. There's Winder. Mushagalusa. Slips it ahead of Dean. Gonzalez. Mushagalusa trying to hold on. James steps in. Not once, but twice, and he won a free kick. And quickly taken at that. Rolled up by Martinez. Marlin. Good step, Winder. Toj. Sharpie. Sharpie crossing. Grabbed by Van Oekel, one of the premier goalkeepers in the championship. Year after year after year. Sharpie. McCabe. Still no Corbin Bone in the starting 11. Should be available at some point tonight. Paulo Del Piccolo coming off the bench again here tonight. Opens the door for Nile and others. There's the Louisville City bench. Much acclaim. And that's not quite on the bench, but probably will be in 17 years.
2038.
38.
I cut you off by one at 16.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Nice to see that Christmas present's paying off.
Abacus.
Night School's just one online booking away, Mike.
Yep. Somehow Ombi. Ombi's onside. Ombi waiting, crossing, Harris. Harris. Van Oekel pulled it down. Sharpie getting jiggy with it. Ball whipped across and snagged by Van Oekel. Mushagalusa in the attack again. Kavita. There's some major matches going around tonight in the Eastern Conference that frankly affect both of these teams. I know, we'll let you be Devin. Indy and Miami scoreless at halftime. Indy and Miami both squarely at the playoff line right now. The Rowdies jumped ahead in the 3rd minute through Jake LaCava. Then he got another one in the 19th. And Atlanta and El Paso are meeting tonight. Atlanta's got a ways to go. El Paso charging up. Well, we welcome all those that thought they were going to be watching that on ESPN Plus tonight. That's in a delay.
8 offside.
That's it?
30 minutes in. Who'd have thunk it?
No, not offside. Okay. Quickly taken. Too quickly taken. Give Tom Sohn a flag. He can get up and down the line a little bit.
They've just got to clean up some of the play itself. They've actually got some decent ideas on how they're trying to attack with this. Enzo Martinez, when he comes out, I really like the balance they've created for themselves. The problem is they can't put more than 2 or 3 passes together right now. 68% passing accuracy. It's just not good enough, even withstanding the attacks coming from Lou City.
McCabe, header in, Winder! Louisville City grabs the lead. His first league goal at 17 years young.
It's not as clear-cut as the first couple of balls that were whipped in to challenge Matt Van Oekel, but there's still space. This is the more difficult one, though. Coming across, heading towards the near post, trying to redirect. Where's the flick going to come from to get to him? He knows he gets it wrong. He cheats here. The hesitation feels like he's going to be able to come to the back. He knows that he's left the near post way too exposed. Well done by Winder. Recognizes that he can just carry the momentum, tuck it inside the near post with a deft flick, and they're finally off and running.
32nd minute. That goal presented by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. He's 17. We spent a lot of time talking about him in Hartford because he is, in so many ways, proof that whether it be Birmingham or Louisville or any number of the 27 teams in the championship, there's a lot of markets that pro soccer has never been able to plant an academy and say, there's a road for you to play. Alabama and Kentucky haven't exactly been dropping MLS draft picks left and right for decades.
No, but Louisville has obviously produced, and Jay Heaps and Tom Sohn are right behind. They've added some academy players as well. Easy enough to point the finger at Josh Winder. There's plenty of talent on both sides here. Marco Garcia, one that they brought in. How about Jay Heaps' son, John Heaps IV? Had a good season for himself. Tons of experience within training sessions, been in the 18s, plenty of 23s. Right around the corner, the opportunity for some of these young players that they're bringing in, but right now, it's that young man's moment. The U19s at the youth national team, Open Cup play, and now finally breaks through in domestic form to put them out in front of Birmingham.
That yellow card was for dissent, and it's presented by World of Beer to Enzo Martinez. And another set piece for Louisville City. It's been seemingly constant so far. Wi-Fi corner. Wi-Fi and Fifth Third are likely very happy sponsors. Non-stop. Winder was the target last time. It's Ownby backpedaling. Reservice. Fell for Sharpie. Tosh getting under it. Smashes it down. Bounces off of Harris. Appeal for a handball and out for a throw. Ball back to Winder. There's news this week, Devin. SiriusXM is bringing USL All Access live to Louisville. You and I are going on July 19th. Full 2-hour show. I've been told they're special guests, and apparently they didn't mean us. I'll be tapping through. things are going to get a little funky. The fan fest is going to be legit.
Any teases on who we're going to bring on?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not all of them have hair.
I'm excited for it. You know, we've been waiting to get back on the road for a while. Great opportunity with two fantastic fan bases, Phoenix Rising and Louisville City. All the front office friends.
League-wide.
League-wide, absolutely.
Midsummer meetings. This is where the brass tacks gets levied.
In just a week's time from then, you'll see Sacramento in Open Cup play semifinal.
5th-3rd free kick. McCabe went for goal, and Van Okel gets down.
I've already picked out
outfit,
all meals for us.
Oh.
I'm going to be 2 meals ahead. I land a bit earlier than you do that day.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's okay.
It's funny, Devin and I, we've done this long enough. First thought was you picked out outfits. I was going to say you picked out bourbon, and then you said you picked out the meals.
Yeah. The opposite day.
Yeah. Tosh. James is going to get out. Let's take a quick look at tonight's trivia, brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. Dev, Louisville City's all-time leading scorer against Birmingham.
I know the answer.
Yeah, you told me. But no one else does.
Do I guess on air, or do I just let it be?
Nah, there it is. It's Maggie. As ever, he scored the first goal between these two sides. It was a 3-2 Birmingham win. The 3rd ever game for the Legion. Where was that game played? You and I called it together.
BBVA?
No, Slugga.
Was it really?
Slugga.
Okay. I remember calling the game, but just the exact location at that point in time escapes me. We've been through a lot in 3 years.
Got away from Dia.
Another really good tackle in the middle of the field for Legion as they widen this thing out. They had issues on both wings. Offensively, they sort of slowed that down. They got to get on the ball more and find a way to misshape Louisville City. It's too predictable right now. It's not clean at all. That's the main thing here. Is you can talk about the goal from Lou City, some of the chances they've provided themselves, but it's not like Louisville have been great. Birmingham Legion are just, they're gifting the ball back right now.
Such is the case. Gonzalez rolls it over Mushagalusa. Matiti pushed away by Crinali. Still danger. Ball across too high for Ownby. Foul from Tosh. We can tell you Baptist Health is the proud partner and exclusive provider of medical support and athletic training services to Louisville City FC and Racing Louisville. Visit baptisthealth.com/ortho to learn more. Bounces by Agadello. James. Agadello. Aravo. Lopez. Zach Aravo, who's been outstanding since coming back into the lineup with more regularity. Lopez drew so much praise even from the opposing coach in this game, Danny Cruz. That constant engine in midfield. Where hasn't Mikey Lopez played for Birmingham? Harris is down on one knee. And with play moving that direction, the referee stopping play. Looks like Harris might be done for the day, and Louisville looking to bring on Ray Serrano. It's amazing. The number 9 position, Harris had been impossible to get off the field. in the early stages of the season. He picks up a little knock. Lancaster gets back. He picks up a apparent hamstring injury in training, rather in warm-ups a couple of weeks ago. And now they're going to have to change, likely back to having Ownby up front again.
Heading into the 4-1 win against FC Tulsa, you and I had an extensive conversation with Danny Cruz about the problem of both Wilson Harris and Cameron Lancaster. Now he's got a different problem. He has neither. And that's been really the last 3 games running. Now Harris, of course, came off of the bench, but all of a sudden you don't have a 9. That'll bring Brian Ownby to the interior. Ray Serrano, he started slow last game. Danny Cruz admitted that, but he built himself into it. Really good in possession, dropping down underneath. It's something right now that they truly need, because Brian Ownby, he's been off again. He's been active, but he's been off 2 games running. And with Wilson Harris out, when he comes back in now, he will assume that leadership role on the inside. With Serrano coming on, Wes Sharpie's been good. The combination that could be the 3 of them together could prove quite lethal. Could is the optimal word.
Harris off, Serrano on. It was initially a nightmare of how to get both on the field at the same time or get the best out of both in different roles. Regrettably, now it's a different nightmare altogether. Ball swung back, 2.5 minutes to halftime. Also very telling. They had to make the change here with 2.5 minutes before the break and use the window.
It gives you an idea of how serious it could be. Now the hope is that it's just a precaution.
Yep.
It certainly hasn't been the case historically for that position, has it?
No.
I mean, you could legitimately go back to 2017 and it's a revolving door, excuse me, of injuries. Luke Spencer, Cameron Lancaster, and obviously Brian Ownby plays on this wing, but they can utilize him there. Jorge Gonzalez, same thing. Now Wilson Harris.
Serrano, well done by Aravo. And then a foul from Gonzalez. As the referee a little steamed. As the fans a little more angry, turns out.
It's definitely retaliation on the second one. The first one by Ray Serrano, he comes flying in. A little 1v2 for him. Seemed that he got the better of the 2 defenders. Near touchline, down in the corner, immediately going to work. Watch the cut back across, nice step over. And he certainly doesn't touch the ball. How much contact does Harivo get on Ray Serrano himself? Very difficult to tell from that angle.
Winder advantage should be played. Well, that turned around quite a bit. Free kick, Birmingham. Dev, what do the targets look like for Birmingham on this end? Because Thomas Van Keezel moved to Tampa Bay mid-season. Not that he was the biggest of guys.
Big enough. I'm looking at Cronulla though. That's easy, very easy to pick out. 6'5 plus. Of course, Fanuel Kavita, both carry a physical presence. Stick one up in.
Ah, it was creative from Martinez. Service didn't match the window dressing.
That's one way to view at it.
By the way, our good friends Hope and Robin on Twitter, not at the stadium today. It means they're actually watching us for once. The Lavender Legion was definitely missing their presence here today. Hopefully feeling better sooner rather than later. Folks in Scouse's house as well, likely missing their camaraderie. Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Referees have added 2 minutes, of which have about 100 ticks to go. Mushagalusa, bye-bye roof. Mushagalusa crossing, high and wide. Serrano comes pouring in. He and Mushagalusa had switched sides.
Yeah, they had just done it too, and slowly Mushagalusa made his way to the bottom of the screen, but watch him drop this shoulder here. They've got a problem at the left back spot. Johnny Dean's not far behind. Great turn by Mushagalusa as he cuts down here. It's perfect positioning by Ray Serrano. Top of the box, an opportunity to run onto it. If this thing comes back across, Mike, it doesn't matter where it ends up with as much pace that's coming. He has a chance to attack it, does so, but as it comes up off the deck, very difficult to get on frame. That's when the only thing you wish is, as hard as it's hit, if you can find a way to take some of the sting off it and keep it on the deck. It's so much easier in those situations. Head down and to drive through it.
Onby getting by Kavita. There was good coverage. Maybe a chance for one more good attack here at the end of the first half. Rolled down the line. Mushagalusa looks up, serves. Van Oekel snags. Depending how quickly he moves, maybe one more chance. Appears he's content to take this to the interval. Well, we've gone the 2 minutes. And a little keeper wars. That's the halftime whistle. It's Winder with the go-ahead at the half, Dev.
It's just unsuitable within the midfield for Birmingham Legion right now. Great finish in the 32nd minute on the dead ball whipped in by Niall McCabe. It'd been coming, though. Disorganization, lackluster in terms of the response, direction given by the goalkeeper, but they have to find a way to apply pressure on the other end. You can point a finger for the defensive unit of Birmingham Legion, how much chasing they've had to do, but it has been non-stop in the opening 45 minutes. Decisions to be made come second half.
Birmingham a little winded up here at halftime. A 1-0 lead. The young center back rises above the pack. Halftime is brought to you by ServPro, the official cleanup and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. Lou City 1, Birmingham 0 at the half in Kentucky.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region. It's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
From distilleries to UPS to Ford, Slugger Museum, Louisville is hardworking. People want to work, they want to work hard, they're willing to dedicate and willing to work their way up. We have this diverse workforce, diverse neighborhoods. Louisville, to me, is like this perfect landing spot for someone to raise a family and to have a great life.
After being cooped up all spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy the summer of now. With amazing rates, Adventure Loans from Commonwealth Credit Union let you hit the road, or no road at all, with UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles, and our recreational loans for boats, motorhomes, and campers. This year, make the most of every day and stay cool for the summer with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We will do everything on the field to make sure we win.
Anything less is a disappointment.
3 years since we last lifted a trophy, and that's far too many.
We're working every single day to bring home a championship.
We started off on the right foot, so now we just got to keep going.
Louisville City FC takes on New York Red Bulls 2, July 9th at 8 on WBKI. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
At Kroger, we believe it takes the right team to bring you fresh produce. That's why we partner with farmers who grow only the best. Because working together is truly what it takes to be fresh for everyone. Kroger, fresh for everyone. With the Kroger app, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, all for prices that are lower than low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The halftime score is brought to you by ServPro, the official cleanup and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. Lou City 1, Birmingham 0 at halftime. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Let's talk a little bit, Dev. We have a lot to talk about. We've chosen to talk about this. Boys to Men, your favorite band growing up.
We talked about it midweek in the Tulsa and San Antonio matchup that was on ESPN2, but it was so impressive we had to bring it back, especially for Danny Cruz and Lou City. You take a look at the coaches that have come into the league over the past 3 seasons. That's the mark here that we're looking at on the drop down for the graphic. The last 3 years, guys that have come in and who are at the top of that table. Well, Danny Cruz leads away. 1.96 points per game. Dear Lord, that's rude. The mark that he's looking for, by the way, is just over 2. Marcina, Ben Pierman, some other good names. Remember, if you went deeper, you would have a Rick Shantz, you would have a Neil Collins, but we kept it on the last 3 seasons. Brendan Burke, of course, time with Bethlehem Steel, but only Colorado Springs for the past 2 years.
There is Brendan Burke, who's led Colorado Springs to a top 3 place in the Western Conference. You'll have a chance to see his switchbacks take on San Diego Loyal on July the 4th. Who's the longest tenured manager in the championship with their current team?
That would be one Mr. Robert Lilly.
Yeah, you bet. And Neil Collins, which is why he was a man long before.
And to understand exactly where the numbers sit, Rick Shantz would actually be tied with Danny Cruz. So it still is impressive, even maybe more so from the Lou City manager.
Give it a week, buddy. Give it a week.
Okay.
Halftime score brought to you by ServPro. We've got highlights, stats, and more on the other side of the break after these messages.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today's the day where I'm going to go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it. What?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
It's all Colorado Springs tonight.
Already going this one. Cross it. Oh!
Floated back the other way. Header, what a save!
San Diego! They drew the penalty from long range. Guido fires away! What a shot!
It's time to get back out and see America again.
And there's no better way than in a hybrid electrified vehicle.
And Toyota's got more than anyone else.
Like this electrified Highlander hybrid that has a driving range over 600 miles and never has to stop to recharge.
It just happens automatically, saving you over $3,200 in fuel costs over the next 5 years.
Now, during Toyota's electrified summer, get 1.75 APR financing on a new 22 Highlander.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Lynn Family Stadium. The halftime score is brought to you by ServPro, the official cleanup and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. Devin's out walking the cat, so I'm going to take you through news and notes from the USL Championship and beyond. We begin with Matt Cardone, one of our all-time favorites. I don't know if you want your lawyer to have a beard like that, but he's sure going to try it. He's headed to SMU. We wish him all the best. One of our longtime favorites, friend of the show, so to speak. Gary Lewis is out for New York Red Bulls too. It is the third sacking of the USL Championship season. Meanwhile, the USL Championship returns on ESPN2. There will be fireworks of many varieties in the Springs. Come up in elevation to Colorado. Switchbacks Loyal, Monday night, 9 Eastern. Devin and I'll have the call. Here's a look at the scoreboard around the USL Championship. Atlanta ain't playing right now. There's lightning in the area, so ATL UTD2 and El Paso are in a holding pattern. Trio of games on Friday. Pittsburgh gets back on track, much needed win. Sacramento falls, that's a rarity. LA Galaxy 2 knocks off Oakland Roots. Meanwhile, here in the Eastern Conference, Miami has grabbed the lead over Indy 11 shortly out of halftime. And Tampa Bay, La Cava, 2-0 over Memphis if that scoreline holds. And this scoreline holds, Louisville top of the Eastern Conference. USL on ESPN. We're back on July 4th. You better bet we're going to be in Louisville on July 20th on ESPN2. Our good friends Jesus Acosta and Jose Rodriguez have RGV and Las Vegas, 7:30 Eastern on July 17th on ESPN Deportes. And then we get a break. Sacramento and Orange County, reigning champ taking on an Open Cup semifinalist. That could be the week before they play in the final on ESPN2, September the 18th. Good things happening, including here in Kentucky. Red sky at night, Sailors Delight. Beautiful evening here in Kentucky. Louisville 1, Birmingham 0 at halftime. We'll show you Winder's goal and show you the first half stats, lopsided as they may be, when we return.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
It's time to get back out and see America again.
And there's no better way than in a hybrid electrified vehicle.
Like this electrified Camry Hybrid.
At 52 mpg, it's got a driving range over 680 miles.
And because it's a hybrid, the gas engine automatically charges the battery. Genius.
Saving you $6,000 in fuel costs over the next 5 years.
Now, during Toyota's electrified summer, get 1.75 APR financing on a new 22 Camry.
Toyota, let's go places.
At U of L Health Urgent Care Plus, the plus makes all the difference. You get convenient, world-renowned care that's backed by a network of academic expertise, less wait time, plus more advanced technology, compassionate care plus no appointment necessary. It all adds up to a smart choice for the best care close by. So don't put your health on hold. That's the power of you.
When fire and water threaten your home, hand the cleanup over to the team that stays with you every step of the way in your journey back. 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Like it never even happened.
We welcome you back. Our wonderful crew here tonight, led by director Gage Tillotson and producer Mackenzie Pierce. Beautiful look at the lights here in Kentucky as Birmingham and Louisville retaking the field after providing a number of highlights in the first half. We're going to show you all of them. Most of them. No, all of them. We start in the 9th minute because why not? Louisville owned the majority of this game, and they owned all the set pieces.
375 offsides was the problem for both of these teams, and that's an exaggeration. We didn't eclipse the century mark. We did, however, have a ton of opportunities from set pieces, and Birmingham Legion were very lucky to not come out down 2 or 3-0 in those spots. Now, I will say this was some of the best movement I saw all first half. Ryan James inverting, the quick stretch going the other way. It's really the only time that we saw any of the attacking movement from Birmingham Legion keep their heads on a swivel. Understood when that ball came back over the top, the center backs were going to have to progress themselves over. Space opened up, couldn't pick out the run, and Lou City went back to work. Mushagalusa's got to read this better. Not in sync for back-to-back movements. He tried to play it to the back post. 15 seconds goes by. He does play it, and it goes over the end line, and here's the goal. Now McCabe only has one job to do here. You want to hit the penalty mark here or thereabouts, and that's not too bad. You're about 5 yards off of it, but with the spin coming to the inside, this always has to be redirected to the near post. It is, and Josh Winder grabs his first league goal in a Lou City uniform.
Here's a look at the River City flooring halftime stats. How's this for a stat, Dev?
I've never seen a team with an XG, that's expected goals of what should be happening for a squad, hit 0. Flat out 0. Now, it wasn't great in possession, but they certainly didn't create anything on the other side. Good argument. It's only 1-0. The fact that they're that close together, this has been the issue all season long up until the past 4 games. They have struggled on both ends. They've locked it down defensively, but you've got to give your team a chance to survive. They barely did so in the first.
Well, that is the human embodiment of a brick house. Anderson Asiadu coming on. Bruno Lapa will as well. Devin made some changes here over the last couple of games that they felt had played out well. Why make adjustments when you're winning 4 games in a row? Well, they'll make changes now. Lapa and Asiadu enter. That's Agudelo over the ball. And with a good amount of cloud cover overhead, we're ready for the second half here in humid Kentucky. By the way, I appreciate that the ball has directions for how to get it back to the field. No, they're not souvenirs. On to the second half. All you can keep from this game are the memories. Louisville 1, Birmingham 0. Second half upcoming. Substitutions are brought to you by MHS Global. Birmingham making changes at the intermission. Louisville did not. They had to make one shortly before halftime with the inclusion of Serrano due to the injury to Wilson Harris. Gibson. Asiadu on for Roof, who had picked up what appeared to be a pretty nervy-looking injury for a brief span in the first half. Seemed to stand up pretty well. Little dip, dodge, duck, dive. McCabe ran out of room. Ryan James off as well at the half, Dev.
That's going to move Mikey Lopez onto the back line next to Fanuel Cavita. The relationship from Asiadu and Enzo Martinez, Bruno Lapa coming in, that should bring him more central. I will say that they have pushed Anderson Asiadu much higher at times within a match. Still expect him to play that 8-10 hybrid type role, more so on the 8. No matter where he ends up, you got to find a way to get Agudelo in. Just some touches. Marlon Santos, combination or not, just way too stagnant in the first half. A team that has struggled to produce goals on the offensive end, coming in +2 goal differential, 14 goals for, 12 goals against. Now, that may not necessarily mean something to you at home, but when you come in as the second lowest team in terms of goals produced, and yet one of the best defensive units for the least amount of goals given up, how long can you maintain that? That's the question for this Birmingham squad.
Gonzalez touches across. Serrano falls to Matiti with a lot of English on it. Has Dia available. Mushagalusa slipped down, rolled away by Dean. Martinez playing a little bit deeper to retrieve. The slaloming midfield run and launches it way beyond Agudelo.
It does give you the idea of the trust that they have for Mikey Lopez, though, because as they drop him over to that left flank, Mike, they're going to push Enzo Martinez a bit further out. Now, Bruno Lapa very comfortable reverting himself to the exterior when needed. He'll drop out of there. He'll come back in underneath Agudelo. But a lot of times you should expect to see space on that left-hand side exposed for Mikey Lopez to mark up. But he's very comfortable in that environment.
Pinball down to Gonzalez. Dane. Asiadu. Lopez positionally changing things a little bit, as Dev mentioned. Louisville have won their last 6 games when leading at halftime. That dates back to the loss to the Rowdies in November, the conference final, 3-2. For Birmingham, they have failed to score in the first half now for the 11th time in 16 games. Only Red Bulls 2 and Atlanta United 2 have had more scoreless first halves in the championship this year.
It's not exactly the company you want to be in.
They just defend about 5 times better than either of those teams.
Fair enough. And I also said to you, you know, the numbers for these teams coming in and why they are relevant. Historically, Mike, when you take a look at the teams that were able to run the gauntlet, get to the title game, and take down the entire USL Championship, only one team out of all 11 that have reached the final and taken it down and gotten a star has finished in single digits goal differential. That was Orange County last year at +7. Every single other team has been at least double digits, +10 or more. 8 out of the 11 being +20 or more. So although it's been good recently, Tom Stone knows that they need to be great within the offensive third to be relevant come playoff time.
Lapa curling dangerously. Header won't test Fondes. That might be the first XG for Birmingham in this game. Racing Louisville FC is back at home at Lynn Family Stadium July 8th. Be there as they take on New Jersey, New York Gotham FC. 8 p.m. Eastern Time kick. Tickets on sale now. RacingLouFC.com/tickets. Dev, you ever consider, you've been in the middle of a racetrack, you've been at the middle of Churchill Downs.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about playing a soccer match in that space?
I would love to play there. I also saw, what was the one this weekend?
Racing Louisville and Orlando Pride at Daytona.
Soccer Fest.
Yes.
Absolutely. Fantastic. There's 2 fields though, right? Or 3?
So there's 1 field and then Chance the Rapper, which
that makes sense.
I'm not nearly cool enough to go to a Chance concert. Marlon, brilliant, rolls it across, a little touch away. Sharpie was there. Ball whipped across, what a goal, Enzo! Enzo Martinez, another jaw dropper. You could hear a pin drop in Louisville. That's Enzo at his best.
They've been the aggressor, the front foot. You can phrase it any way you want, but they have been the better team at the start of the second half. Give yourself a chance. I said, get Agudelo, get Marlon Santos, Enzo Martinez going. The ball that comes all the way to the back, that's the restricted position I was talking about. Lopez to the back line, Asiadu in, Enzo Martinez attacks from outside in, and apologies to the back of the net. What a rip this is for his 48th regular season goal by Enzo Martinez.
My, oh my, Enzo Martinez is 4th of the year. Dev, we had Birmingham on national TV opening week of the season. We said, what was the negotiation like to get Enzo to come from Charlotte, who had dropped to League One, down to Birmingham? Tommy Sohn made it clear. There's competitive, and then there's Enzo. This guy is ultra competitive. He came here to win a title, period.
Any single team that went in to scout him at Charlotte.
Ownby across, tipped down by McCabe.
He was always the first name. It didn't matter in form or not, coming off an injury. He was always the first name within the scouting report on where they were going to play him. How did he fit into the system? Where did you mark him defensively? And that's the change I said coming in. Watch him. They're going to push him a little bit further to the left. That's not picked up. Even though the ball recycles to the back post, you can't let a player as dangerous as Enzo Martinez become that free.
Mushagalusa clips it through over Lopez, down to Gonzalez. Rolls it in front. Ownby pushed off by Crinali. Enzo Martinez just scored a goal on a play with an expected goal of .04. He had a 4% chance of scoring that shot. Ball ahead for Dia. Dia cuts it back, rolls in front. Van Oekel to ground, denies Gonzalez. And maybe we've lit this firework here at Lynn Family Stadium.
Much better. The direction of the decision-making has become much more direct. Amadou Dia, this is something that Louisville City have started to employ more and more. Amadou Dia comes to the inside. Mushagalusa holds the width, has the patience to allow the play to develop. Problem was is Jorge Gonzalez just doesn't catch enough of the ball.
Mushagalusa trying to chase it down, goes to Dean. Ownby. McCabe. Serrano. Ownby! It's cleared by Mushagalusa. It's offside. Lou City, no. Still 1-1.
This is a stinger ripped all the way to the back post. Mushagalusa. Offside calls played the entire first half for both squads. Square back across. Johnny Dean was out of position, it seemed to be. He wasn't lined up with Fanuel Cavita on the step. Neither was Crinali. Look at the misshape, but it's the right call. This is the right decision by the AR on the far side of the field. You got to be better here. Too much of an opportunity there on the back post run. You have the entire game in front of you to judge when and where to make the break.
They're trying to clear the smoke out from the stacks. Ball lifted ahead. Louisville thought they had regained the lead just 4 minutes after a stunner from Enzo Martinez. Tough slide in and a foul and potentially a card. Referees having some consideration to that fact.
It's not the first one either by Owen Santos coming from behind. Just the challenge there. Good little touch by Gonzalez to get out in front of it. It's right in front of the referee is the problem. Thank you very much. On your way. Job well done on the goal. That's all he cares about at this moment, 57 minutes in. Excellent response by Legion here in the second half. This is a team, Mike, I've said it for years, that you just expect so much out of them because of the star-studded roster that is, maybe never fully translating to the results we expect.
Birmingham equalizing in the 52nd minute. The USL Championships greatest villain, perhaps, Little spin by Serrano, trying to get by Kavita, clipped it through, and there's Van Oekel. You know, Dev, it's funny. You know, there are certain guys in every sport, in every league, where everyone can agree, if he's on my team, I'd love that dude. And if he's on the other team, he's public enemy number one. And there's Enzo, who's played that role as the heel now for the better part of a decade.
I'm sure his brother might have something to say about that, though.
No
Alex,
kidding.
The two of them together, that was super fun to watch while they were matched up in Charlotte. Mike Jeffries had a field day. There's a drive about it, though, right? The skill set is one thing. And then there's the confidence and leadership capability.
Asiadu contemplating. Ball ricochets off of Fondes. That was Lapa sent away.
He gets going, though. Everybody else around follows.
Everyone's better.
Yeah, just raises the level. Certainly has been 100 times better here in the second half. Not saying much about the first, is it? Asiadu, impact. Lapa, same thing. Positional change for Martinez. Can you keep him here now? That's the one thing you'd like to see, is to play a bit higher of a line. They were just so compressed in the first half that anytime they did win it, Mike, you got to go 120 plus yards to be able to get to the other end of the field, even 60 or 70 to break midfield. This is better, though. You lose it, you stay here. It doesn't have to be an out-and-out press, but make Louisville work for it.
Ball bounces down to Aravo. Spent so much time in New England under the tutelage for most of that period. Jay Heaps, who's been the head of this front office in Birmingham from day one. Soares cross field. Sharpie. This will be a throw. Let's take a look at tonight's nugget of the match. It's presented by Chick-fil-A. Lancaster, 21 goals last season. We're the second championship player to register a pair of 20-goal seasons. 2018, he set the all-time record since tied by Haji Berry. And he, of course, won the Golden Boot that year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Daniel Rios, maybe the other one?
Within that season?
No, 220s. North Carolina and Nashville, maybe? That's actually the kind of trivia question that might have us both in knots. Mushagalusa. Mushagalusa. Off the outside of the net. Was it touched? Nay.
I would have thought possibly Solomon Asante, but I think the one year he got to like 16 or 17. He didn't break the 20 mark.
And he had such a good year in the COVID-shortened year that if you doubled it up.
Daniel Rios with Charlotte now in MLS. Of course, his time with Nashville then. I don't think you're far off, and you're right.
Given away. Gonzalez went in. Gonzalez caught Cronali. Two changes here for Louisville City. Subs are presented by MHS Global, above and beyond. Corbin Bone returns. Replaces Tyler Gibson. That's an attack-minded change. This is the second window used by Louisville. They had to burn one in the first half as Wilson Harris went off due to injury. Gonzalez still being attended to.
How quick can the change happen on the back line? Square across, right through. Oh, bone on bone. Right foot on the knee, on the follow through.
Well, that's good news, right? Thumbs up. And good to see Cronali's back up too, because nothing fun about that. There's the Bone insertion.
And this will definitely going to change some things.
Did give a yellow to Gonzalez, by the way. Yellows are brought to you by World of Beer. Perez in for Sharpie as well.
The referee is showing a voluntary yellow card for season 9 for A. Gonzalez.
Aravo. Those are tight quarters.
Remember, now you got Manny Perez matched up against Enzo Martinez, and it's an interesting idea of what could be on that far side. They've struggled for sure at the start of the second half, and it's not all because of Enzo, but he's doing a real good job of understanding that he doesn't always have to come back to the inside, a role that he really relishes. It doesn't have to with Bruno Lapa coming in. Asidu as well. They've put a lot more emphasis on Zach Haribo coming underneath into the single pivot. And look at all the white jerseys right in the center circle. That was one of the main issues outside of the execution and the accuracy. They didn't have enough on the inside to be able to help build onto that front line.
Yellow card. That's his second. Lopez sent off. He caught Serrano. He'd been on a yellow card since the early stages of the first half. First time Lopez has been sent off all year. Louisville up a man for the final 26.
9 minutes in was the first one, and he leaves his feet here. Were the studs up was my question. Certainly a ton of real estate to run in behind for Lou City. He doesn't agree, but as they come back to the outside, good little touch here by Serrano. Flat-footed, catches him. Like, if you blow a foul in this situation and let him move on, he's on a short leash either way. It's right in front of the referee. Persistent maybe. Second, to me, is a little harsh. I understand the contact. He certainly steps on him. Can you argue for it? Absolutely. Personal preference, I let him play. Letter of the law, difficult to disagree with.
Up the stairs and off to the dressing room, and now Birmingham gonna have to find a way to respond here. No VAR, of course. J.C. Griggs is the referee.
There was no doubt in his mind on that decision, was there?
And ultimately, if you're going to send a player off, that's the way it should be. Griggs has been a regular in the championship now for 4 years as a referee. McCabe on a third free kick. Aravo. Collision at the top of the box with Tosh going down. Rolled over by Corbin Bone. Inserted into the box and over. Mushagalusa.
And watch the move now here. You have to imagine it's got to be Haribo into the center back spot, and you move Kavita over. Think about the fact that you've now gone 65 minutes, Mike, and you've basically removed all three of your out-and-out marking backs. Jake Roof, Ryan James, and now Mikey Lopez. So you've got three center backs, in theory, on the back line with Zach Haribo in that hybrid type player. Very comfortable. You do add a dimension to it, though, with him willing to step off the back line and tack the interior. If you get a chance at that, you step up through, find a way to grab an Asidu, move to someone like Enzo Martinez. Certainly never want to go down to 10. A silver lining of sorts, though.
Marlin came up a bit lame from that. By the way, our good friends at Opta And stats performed tell us Mikey Lopez, first red card since 2019. Third time Birmingham has had a player sent off. The first time since the second week of March when we were going through that rash of red cards the first few weeks of the year, where it felt like every game came with a red. Dia, long throw. Mushagalusa trying to get up. Aravo beat him to it. Marlin did the same. Potential head injury has McCabe down. Hasn't rubbed his face quite like that since GB.
Well, this also comes with a mismatch now. Speed-wise, the amount of tempo you're going to face if you're Fanuel Cavita. Physically, he'll be fine, but with Ray Serrano, Brian Ownby, and Manny Perez coming down that right-hand flank, that's got to be a point of emphasis if you're Danny Cruz. Find a way to attack that. And within the rotation, how much space starts to pop up in the middle. You're going to have to ask a lot more movement out of Martinez coming in to help out Bruno Lapa and Acedo, and yet still try and maintain on the opposite end. 69 minutes in, down to 10. Point is 3 right now. If you get a point right now in this situation, this is a win for Legion.
McCabe will have to wait to re-enter the field. That's going to get out of play. That's going to be a Wi-Fi corner for Louisville City.
It's a 5-5 corner kick by the athletic defensive matchman partner for Louisville City.
McCabe. Can Louisville pull back ahead here? Tosh couldn't get his head to it, and Martinez sends it across the halfway line to Fondes. Dia. Oh, excellent in behind. Ball brought down, slid in front, Ownby! Denied Van Okel. Serrano getting involved on that long diagonal ball that was just gorgeous to watch. Quick restart. Gonzalez away from Enzo Martinez, setting up Corbin Bone. Winder has scored for Louisville, an academy product from the last remaining player from the inaugural team, Niall McCabe, back in the first half. McCabe. Slashed across, that'll get out. Let's tell you that Joella's Hot Chicken is serving up just the right amount of spice with their Lou City Slider Pack. $5 from every pack sold will be donated towards the Lou City and Racing Louisville Youth Academy. With 7 heat levels to choose from, Joella's Hot Chicken isn't just about heat, it's about flavor.
Breakfast, by the way.
Breakfast or dinner?
Stop number 1. No, it's breakfast.
Is that before I get to?
Absolutely.
I'll go on my own.
I'll bring you leftovers, man.
They're open till 11.
There's another location that may or may not have some senior lineage within it that we've stopped at before, raising the flag up high.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Fondes got away. Offside flag's going to go up on that ball, refed through. That was Asiadu charging up. Injured player. That's Agudelo. Dev, at the beginning of this game, you said you got to get Agudelo involved.
Hasn't happened.
Well, how do you make that happen? And where's Agudelo now versus the Agudelo we saw come out of the Red Bull Academy at, what, 2012? So we're talking 10 years into his career.
Red Bull, Chivas. I mean, think about all the stops that he's been at where he's been at top notch. I think this change has got to happen for him even prior to the injury. It's just everything seems a bit off. It's the idea that he's right there the entire time, and yet it's so up and down. Thought maybe with the speed and the understanding of both outside and inside, you would have gone with Prosper Kasim in this situation, though I do understand you basically need an out-and-out 9 to provide the extension here, given the fact that you're down to 10.
And Kasim coming off injury here late in the game, playing with 10 on the road. That's Horvat coming in, sub brought to you by MHS Global.
The situation in Birmingham reminds me a lot of what's going on in Sacramento at the 9 position. Douglas Martinez could make the same argument for someone like a Malik Foster, Zico Lewis, guys that are right in that 10-9 spot of just trying to find a way to produce goals, and everybody else around them playing at a very high level. If they could just finish a bit more here and there, you're looking at a team that's a definite title contender. At this point in time, though, it's very difficult to put your eggs in that basket.
Tosh, McCabe. Serrano. Bone. Caromed free. Perez. Bone. Asiadu in his wake. Rolled in front. Wide somehow from Mushagalusa. Hands on heads. A free kick to Birmingham. At some point, Dev, all that talent from Mushagalusa, you want to see it translate to consistent goal contributions.
We just argued for one Agudelo on one end. How about Enoch Mushagalusa and the amount of opportunities he's had tonight? Ball that comes square back across. What ball movement and the decision making by Corbin Bone. I'm surprised when he got down into the corner, Mike, that he didn't bring it back out. Instead, everybody else thinks the exact same thing that I'm thinking. Rolls over the shoulder and then picks it back to his left side. Great explosion. Right there, thought that he was gonna play it back. Instead, explodes down to the byline, comes all the way back across. Good combination play with he and Manny Perez. Gotta put that on frame though.
McCabe, foul. Fans can head to Twitter now to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. It's Bruno. Lapa to take the free kick. Lapa. Long run, tapped away. Further now from Marlon. Asiadu. The Ghanaian chopping in. Clips over the back line. Dia. Marlon. Marlon. He's trying to ring the drums up there.
That's on the goalkeeper, though. Danny Fondes has got to come off his line in this situation. The 10 move very high for Thompson and all the white jerseys. When the ball comes back in, there's no reason that he's not only stepping off in his line and picking this up, Mike, but then quick distribution to try and play into the space behind. That's just a goalkeeper who hasn't had a lot of reps underneath his belt at the professional level. Done a fine job so far. Opportunity missed, though.
Cronali bounced off of Martinez. A little laissez-faire there. Ownby returns. Corbin Bone!
Corbin Bone been great since coming on. The clearances, and the one before by Dia, now this one from Cronali right down the middle. You just allow your opponents to have another bite of the apple. Real simple. Triangular 1-2 around, pick out the bottom corner. And Bone wasn't up for it.
You know, it's kind of funny. At first I thought Bone looked a little like Anthony Kiedis. And now I think he got his haircut. Ball rolled through.
Oh, I could see that.
Perez.
That's a good shout.
But now I think he looks more like Chris Martin.
I'm sticking with Anthony Kiedis.
Understood.
They got to play quicker here. If you're Lou City and want to go find a way to get 3 points, have to play faster through the different levels that Legion are putting in front of you. Good job so far.
Dia swings it ahead. Ownby lets it by. Penalty. Van Oekel caught him with the outstretched arm after making contact with the ball. A yellow card for dissent. And this could be the turning point in this game.
You got to watch the touch from Brian Ownby as he comes in behind the back line. Van Oekel makes the right decision. He comes here quick. Much better than Denny Fonez on the other end. But as he comes, Brian Ownby gets a little peek, and then he gets inside Cronali. Watch the touch that comes square just to the side. Right there. He does get a touch to it. How much of the player is the question mark does Van Oekel get? That's a bit of a gray area for me because Brian Ownby definitely gets a touch on the ball. So does Matt Van Oekel. At what point in time does the contact and how much occurs on Ownby himself?
Yellow card to Cronali. That'll cost him not quite a full Bitcoin. It'll cost him some, though.
And just watch it again here in slow-mo as it comes. Brian Ownby definitely gets a vertical touch, or horizontal, excuse me, right there. Again, it's that left arm. From that angle, it's really difficult to tell. If you lean with the referee, and there is in fact contact on the player himself, Brian Ownby had gotten a touch before, which means you have impeded the path of the player, and you have to point to the spot and give the card. I can't definitively say, Mike, from this angle that Van Oekel actually touches him. We're at the liberty of what the referees have seen, and you got to stick with it.
According to Transfer Market, Matt Van Oekel has seen 34 penalties as a professional. He has saved 0. Tosh stepping up again to the spot. What a story he's been. 3 goals from the spot, 2 this season, 1 in the Open Cup against Van Oekel in 2019. 4 goals in 198 career games coming into the year. He has 4 this season alone. And for the second time, Tosh against Van Oekel in their careers. Tosh for the lead. Oh, he scored. Tucked in, locked in, 2-1 Louisville City.
Now let's go back to the quick movement. Good job by Corbin Bone, finds Amadou Dia, and as Dia is always looking forward here, it's a really good ball. Challenges the shaper, Cronali can't get in behind it. Brian Ownby, touch to the side. Again, From that angle, it's really hard to tell which comes first. The touch by Van Oekel on the ball or the player. Referee says player. Tosh says loaded to the bottom corner, and the lead for the home squad.
Straight red card to Tommy Sohn. He'll miss Birmingham's next match away at Atlanta in 4 days. Lopez will too. The Louisville goal is presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. 2-1 Louisville. Birmingham now down a coach and a player. Marlon Del Piccolo came in at the stop here for Louisville City. Jorge Gonzalez has come off. Mushagalusa came off as well. This is the final subs for Louisville City. Masoso on, Mushagalusa off. Here's Del Piccolo. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Snap down, you can see the captain's armband seated by McCabe back to Del Piccolo. And there's Masoso's entry. His 11th time off the bench. I'd buy a ticket to this playoff game.
Let me ask you this. We've looked at it 10 times now. Is that a penalty for you?
Ball ahead, Winder, and that's cleared by Masoso. Difficult because clearly Van Oekel gets a touch on the ball.
After Ownby does.
Correct.
So it's all the contact, right?
Right.
And we can't tell. That's the problem. I was just discussing with the producers behind the scenes saying, let's take one more look at it. We've looked at it 10 times. We still can't tell.
At the end of the day, it's subjective. And from the referee's angle, if the arms swing forward from Van Oekel and create almost a right angle, and you see the trip over the arms,
yeah, again,
I think if you're the referee from that angle, you're giving that. And yet I'm sitting here looking from 100 feet up, and I'm thinking differently.
And there's no doubt in my mind that Brian Ownby gets a touch away from the goalkeeper.
Yes.
There's also no doubt the fact that Matt Van Oekel as well is able to get one hand on the ball. What you can't tell is with the outstretched arms that you're referencing, if the contact occurs first and then hits the ball. That's the problem, and that's what the referee is basing his decision off of.
Marlon comes off. That's Matthew Corcoran coming on, the 16-year-old from Dallas. Put in play here from Bruno Lapa. Too far. And look, if you're a Birmingham fan and you're watching the second yellow given to Lopez and you're feeling that's harsh for a second yellow, then you see that penalty.
Yeah.
You can understand the frustration for Tommy Sohn, and I imagine he's probably speaking for a few thousand people back in Birmingham.
I have no problem with his argument, right? I mean, the decision-making has been up and down all game long. He's defending his players, and I respect it.
Winder just got named the man of the match by the Twitter poll. That's got the whole stadium buzzing. Throw here for Louisville. Baptist Health Louisville provides nationally recognized orthopedic care locally. Learn more about their high-performing hospital ranking in knee replacement from U.S. News and World Report at baptisthealth.com/ortho. Serrano sends it floating back. Rolled up to Aravo. Van Oekel. Dia slides in front. Onby trying to corral. Slipped ahead, Dia. Rolled across. Finale. Winder goes back. I like the distribution from Fondes. Ball whipped through. Del Piccolo won a free kick. Dia off the 5th-3rd free kick. As we approach stoppage time here in Kentucky, nightfall, Louisville still in position to move top of the Eastern Conference here tonight. 7 added minutes of stoppage time presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Full time in St. Pete. Rowdies 2, Memphis 0. Louisville is now protecting the top spot in the Eastern Conference. With the win, the Rowdies now on 33 points have pulled 6 clear of Pittsburgh and 3 points away from Louisville. Let's get you caught up on the penalty one more time. Watch the referees looking right in on it.
This angle's very different. So it's Onby first, it's Van Oekel just after, but that angle right there is what the referee is seeing. To Mike's point, from that angle, what you see is much more contact than the angle that we're looking at. When you break it all down, most importantly, attacker gets there first, is in proximity to get to the ball after the touch. There is contact, 100%. Those 3 things happened. What's the order on number 2 and 3? Because Van Oekel, as the ball starts to move away from the attacker, the split-second touch that occurs after Onby, it looks like the contact comes from the goalkeeper first. If it doesn't, and he gets ball, then player, now we're talking about something else.
All the way back here to Perez. Lest we forget, Birmingham is just one moment of magic away. Horvat's come in, and I don't know that we've had to say his name yet. Much like Agadello, the number 9s had a silent performance tonight, which was very much Louisville's game plan coming into the evening. Aravo. Atlanta, meanwhile, you can see Van Oekel's frustration. Tristan Traeger has scored twice. Soloniak scored in the 4th, but Atlanta leads 2-1.
Dear Lord.
Atlanta's just playing some crazy games right now.
They looked really good in the first half against the Charleston Battery. All due respect to the Battery.
Bone in front, Masoso offside. 2 goals wiped off for offside. The first was clearly correct, and this one appeared to be 2. Horvat. Winder. Offside has been whistled 13 times in this game. Aravo. Nice snag. Read the instructions on the ball. You got to give it back. Corner, Birmingham. Expected goals in this game, 3.07 to 0.21. Van Oekel's forward. Van Oekel was the target. Ball launched back ahead. Flag stays down. Kept by Corcoran. Tried to get it across. Martinez loads up again. Sent that out of play. That's a goal kick, and I would suggest if you're Fondes, how quickly can you get this out? Because Van Oekel's running to the other end. Louisville take more time off, 2.5 minutes to go. Tosh, who, believe it or not, is now scored in 3 games running for Louisville. Head to Serrano. Louisville's looking for the dagger. Serrano, free kick.
Ray Serrano slowly working himself towards the upper echelon of decision making for Danny Cruz. Disagreement again from the sideline and again from the angle. It's really frustrating, but it is another foul right at the top of the box. Just be real careful if you're Birmingham Legion. I get it. It's been a frustrating night. You can question some of the referees' decisions for sure. It's 2-1. You're right there. Any moment of magic, possibly. More importantly, you've already lost a player and your coach. Don't add any more notches to the belt.
Fireworks here screaming overhead. Is there one more? McCabe off the wall and out. A corner in the final minute. Couple of stats. Louisville has won more penalties than any team in the league, 6. They've converted their last 13 dating back to June 7th last year. And Louisville now 9 goals in the last 15 minutes. Only Oakland and RGV have scored more. Touch away Masoso. Whistle. Card to Masoso. Time to go for Birmingham. And Martinez remains down.
That's a foul.
Yep.
It's going to leave a mark, too. Enzo Martinez got a hitch in his step, and super frustrating for the Legion players again. 6 out of 8 coming in. Decided by 1 goal or less. Looks to be the exact same argument unless Blue City pad the lead. Only 1 game had we seen double digit from both teams. Told you, don't be surprised if it happens again.
Comes down to 1 goal again, and Louisville comes away with a 2-1 win on a controversial late penalty. Tosh has scored in 3 games running. He's got 5 on the season. And Louisville knocks off Birmingham to move top of the Eastern Conference on Memphis's defeat at the hands of the Rowdies earlier tonight in St. Pete. Louisville a full +3 on expected goals. Tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match is Joshua Winder, his first league goal, Dev.
Of course it is. At 17 years of age, is the man of the match against the Birmingham Legion at home to push them into the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference. This kid just gets better and better every single time he steps on the field. Agadello, Martinez, Ryan James, Marlin, every single player that had an opportunity to challenge him, he pushed him aside and at a goal for good measure.
There's certainly some frustration from the Birmingham players. But Louisville comes away with the victory, and the fireworks will continue to play out here over Lynn Family Stadium. Let's take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Toyota, let's go places. Through for Ownby, and that's ultimately the move that sealed the win for Louisville.
And again, the more and more that you look at it, there's no doubt of what goes on here, but it does look like Van Oekel, it's very close that he does get a touch. Again, if he touches the ball and then the player, it's a different story. They're saying that the contact with the player occurs first. Contact most certainly occurs for Sean Tosh to bury this as a game winner and send them atop the table in the Eastern Conference.
And whether it be one of the league's most lauded players of all time, the reserves or the fans here, Tosh and Louisville walk away with the dub and move up the table. We'll wrap this one up on the other side of the break. Tonight's final score is brought to you by Gorski Law Office. Louisville gets the early goal from Winder, hitting that gritty. Lopez and Sohn sent off. And while Martinez scores a banger, Louisville wins it. Postgame coming up.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
It's time to get back out and see America again.
And there's no better way than in a hybrid electrified vehicle.
And Toyota's got more than anyone else.
Like this electrified RAV4 hybrid that's more powerful and more fuel efficient.
At 40 mpg, it's got a driving range of 580 miles.
Saving you $4,000 in fuel costs over the next 5 years.
Now, during Toyota's electrified summer, get 1.75 APR financing on a new 22 RAV4.
Toyota, let's go places.
Imagine your bright career when you join the U of L Health team. Now, imagine receiving free tuition to the University of Louisville. At U of L Health, we believe in investing in you and the power of education. So now, your U of L Health family has college tuition covered for all employees and their families. Just imagine the possibilities. That's the power of you.
This postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. It's a walk of honor there for Danny Cruz as ever, Dev.
Love to see it. He grow long hair like his son?
Yeah, it's definitely that way.
It's the highlights for me. It's the highlights of the game, not the hair.
All right, yeah, let's try that. Here come the full-time highlights, of which there are several. They're brought to you by Liquor Barn. We begin in the 32nd minute of play. McCabe, Winder.
That's great execution because the ball that's come in, if you're Tom Sohn, you're going to take a long look at the tape from this game and just say, guys, we got to be better from restarts. That wasn't the case. 1-0 Lou City. And then the start of the second half, the changes that come, you move Enzo Martinez to the outside. Ryan James starts to move around a little bit. Asiadu, for me, was a real key piece in his ability to dictate some of the play. But he just stays outside. This is a ton of patience for his 48th regular season goal. Allows the play to come to him. It's a very poor clearance coming to the backside by Wes Sharpe. Tries to recover. Martinez makes him pay.
Skip into the 65th minute, and this is where things began to change. So Lopez goes in. That's a second yellow.
hard to argue it, right? Again, I like games to be more open, but it studs up, it's on the foot, it's very clear-cut and in front of the referee. You go down to 10, you change some pieces. For me, this is always going to be about stretching the game as we went on because of the lack of pace on the back line. If you're just joining us, it's a touch by Ownby. There is a touch by Matt Van Oekel. Where does the contact occur and when? Well, it's about 10 yards out. Is it the player then ball, ball then player? Referee says player first, 12 yards out, points to the spot. Sean Tosh points to the corner, 2-1 Lou City.
Tosh, goals in 3 consecutive games. He might need to come up with a new goal celebration. 4 goals in his first 198 league games, 5 this season. River City Flooring presents the full-time match stats. Expected goals 3.21 to 0.21 in favor of Louisville. Dev, chance for your final thoughts.
Same argument, different day. If, and this is a big if Birmingham Legion can find a way in the final 25 to 30 yards to get a 9, pick out some sort of look. I'm looking for 8 or 10 goals tops. That's the number right now. Marquis, you combine it for 15 between the two, that will give you an opportunity to be successful come postseason time. You cannot maintain a +1, +2, +3 goal differential and expect against teams like Louisville, a Memphis this year, even the Rowdies, to get a result on a consistent basis. Got to be better.
So Louisville moves to the top of the Eastern Conference tonight. Another gritty performance against Birmingham. Postgame was presented by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. We'll talk to you again on July the 9th when Louisville welcomes New York Red Bulls 2 for the final time ever. What a rivalry that was. For Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, we'll see you next week. Louisville wins it 2-1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.